This race is no normal race. Tonight, 4 drivers battle with only one goal at hand. Only one will win. Who will rise and who will fall? But they're not alone on the track. They're being chased by a pack full of hungry drivers looking for a chance to make their name and chase for a championship. You won't win the Dash for Cash tonight, but you sure can lose it. Sit back and enjoy.
Smithley, driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
You should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. By being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. Right?
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with Freedom Train.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's final Racinfreeks Dash for Cash race here at Darlington. I'm your commentator, Sean Zulu, and I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. This is a throwback race, so I expect to see some throwback paint schemes on these beautiful Xfinity B cards. We're currently about to go into qualifying mode here, and we have a few drivers here. We have the 8 of Nick Crawford, that 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr., that 22 of Chris Gutierrez, the 23 of James Hackworth Jr., the 32 of Zachary Hall, the 34 of Christopher Matthews, the 36 of Brandon Mullen, 53 Ivan Jones, 61 of David Everly, my co-announcer, usually, is racing tonight, and also that 95 of John LaBombard. So tonight's going to be a very, very good race. The Dash for Cash standings right now, we currently have that 13 of Cedric Hunter, who's currently in the lead with 113 points, but he does not seem to be in the room at the moment. That 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. is second place in points with 112, 1 point behind Cedric Hunter, who is 113 points. The 62 of Jeff Gilmore is in third place with 82 points, and doesn't look like he's here either tonight. That's going to be really interesting. So it looks like the only driver who's racing tonight, who's in the points for the Dash for Cash, is that 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. So if he's the only one who's going to be here, then he's going to end up taking the cash prize, because tonight is the final Dash for Cash race. Gonna go over the race details here. We have a 60% fuel limit. These guys are gonna have to pit more than once. The track is mostly cloudy, 71 degrees track temp, 71 degrees Fahrenheit that is, while the weather is just 67 degrees Fahrenheit. We got winds at 0 miles per hour from the north. Looks like it's gonna be a 100 lap race, and these guys only have one reset, so they're gonna have to take it easy because it's a 100 lap race, and if they end up using their reset early on in the race, it just might end their night. Looks like these drivers are about to start qualifying. We're now going to let you guys just enjoy the view and enjoy those engine sounds, because we have about 2 minutes and then these guys are going to go into qualifying. Single car qualifying, that is. Right now in practice, we have that 32 of Zachary Hall on the pole with a 27.019. Behind him in second place is that 8 of Nick Crawford with a 27.231. In third place, we have that 22 of Chris Gutierrez with a 27.281. Not too far back from Crawford, who's in second place. That 36 of Brandon Mullen is in fourth place with a 27.363. 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr. is in fifth place, rounding up the top 5 with a 27.389. 34 of Christopher Matthews is in sixth place with a 27.517. 61 himself, Dave Everly, with a 27.668 in seventh place. Ivan Jones in that 53 is in eighth place with a 27.855. 95 of John LaBombard is in ninth place with 27.871. Looks like we have one more driver here who took a lap in practice, and that's going to be the 23 of James Hackworth Jr., who rounds up your top 10 with a 28.222. Looks like we have about 45 seconds until these guys go into qualifying. Well, it looks like we're going to have a pretty small field tonight. It only has 11 drivers. Looks like the 78 of John Jones just connected. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess I was wrong. I was told that I was gonna be single car qualifying, but it looks like it's an open car qualifying. So pretty much everyone's on the track at the same time, using each other's draft. Time to put up some, trying to put up some good lap times using the draft. Right now, just focusing on that 32 of Zachary Hall, who was really fast in practice, took the pole in practice, so we're going to keep an eye on him and see how well he does in qualifying. Looks like Zachary Hall in that 32 has the pole right now in qualifying, but looks like he messed up his lap time as he scraped that wall exiting turn 2 and had to pit in and get a new car. Also keeping an eye on that 22 of Chris Gutierrez, currently in second place with a 27.322. Gonna watch him here closely and carefully as he goes around the track. He just might beat that 32 of Zachary Hall. Oh, looks like he just scraped the wall exiting turn 4, and that's pretty much going to damage his car and slow him down. He just put off on the back straightaway there. I'm gonna get a reset or reset his car to get a new one. And ladies and gentlemen, when you're in qualifying and in practice, you get unlimited amount of cars. So when you wreck your car, you can just go in and get a new one. It's unlimited. But when it comes to race time, these guys only have one reset, so therefore they only get one spare one. So once they wreck once, or once they damage their car once, they have one chance at fixing it, getting it renewed or refreshed, and then after that, that's it. If you get it damaged again, you're done. Looks like that 8 of Nick Crawford snuck in second place there, in between that 32 of Hall and the 22 of Gutierrez. He's in second place with a 27.315. He actually did beat his practice time. Actually, never mind, he did not. In practice, he ran at 27.281. And now he just ran at 27.304. The 78 of John Jones, who just joined who just joined as they were qualifying, is currently in 8th place with a 28.169. We have about 50 seconds remaining until these guys actually start gridding. Looks like Chris Gutierrez just snuck in and took the second place position away from that 8 of Nick Crawford. In 4th place, we have that 95 of John LaBombard with a 27.649. Dave Everly running up to top 5 with a 27.661. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like these guys are wrapping it up right now as we speak. They're gonna go into gridding here in about, actually right now. Gonna go over the qualifying results. We have that 32 of Zachary Hall on the pole once again, just like he did in practice with a 27.076. That 22 of Chris Gutierrez in 2nd place right behind him with a 27.304. The 8 of Nick Crawford in 3rd place with a 27.315. 95 of John LaBombard in 4th place with a 27.649. 61 of Dave Everly running up to the top 5 with a 27.661. The 34 of Christopher Matthews in 6th place with a 27.774. 53 Ivan Jones in 7th place with a 28.033. 78 of John Jones in 8th place with a 28.084. And that's all the drivers that qualified. So out of 11 drivers, only 8 of them qualified. Starting 9th is going to be the 16 of Robert A. Moya Jr., who's currently 2nd in the Dash for Cash points and eligible to win the prize tonight since none of his competitors showed up, is in 9th place. 23 of James Hackworth Jr. did not qualify either as he rounds up the top 10. And last but not least, we have the 36 of Brandon Mullen in 11th place. Gonna wait for these guys to start rolling. Looks like they're gonna start rolling in about 10 seconds. And I forgot to mention this, but this is a fixed setup race, so these guys are packing the same things under those hoods, so it's all up to the driver. Looks like these guys are now rolling right behind that pace car. Pace speed is 60 miles an hour. These guys just taking it easy, bunching it up so they can get a better start than the guys behind them, looks like. Nice and tight. The pace car is off. Still holding that pace speed.
Green, green, green.
The green flag flies. That 32 of Zachary Holm, the loud pedal side by side of the 22 of Chris Gutierrez. The 8 of Nick Crawford trying his best to try and make some room, but has to back out as they're going to be side by side entering turn 2 with the 22 of Chris Gutierrez. The 8 of Nick Crawford makes a pass successfully on that 22 of Chris, as Chris Gutierrez just lost one spot in turn 1. He's going to get shuffled back to 3rd place. Great job by Nick Crawford. Looks like it was a pretty good start here. These guys were doing what they were supposed to do and didn't have any trouble at all. They're just single file right now, trying to get a feel for those cars, but these guys are going way a little too close to that wall, exiting turn 4 there. Nick Crawford in 2nd place in that 8 car is trying his best to catch up to the back bumper of that 32 of Zachary Hall so he can make the pass. Right behind him is getting some pressure from the 22 of Chris Gutierrez, who comes out of nowhere as he can feel him breathing down his neck. Looks like the 32 of Zachary Hall is actually pulling away from Nick Crawford and the 22 of Chris Gutierrez. And in turn, they too are pulling away from the rest of the pack, namely the 95 of John LeBombard, the 34 of Christopher Matthews, 78 of John Jones, and the 53 of Ivan Jones as well. Looks like every single lap, the leader is pulling away from the 8 of Crawford and the 22 of Gutierrez, about 0.2 seconds every lap. Going back up front, looks like the 32 of Zachary Hall actually scraped the wall exiting turn 4. Looking back at that 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr. catching up to that 61 of David Everly. Looks like the 61 of Dave Everly gets into the wall, manages to save it. Great job by him, but that is definitely going to affect him as he gets some right side damage to that car of his. That right side damage not looking too pretty. I'm guessing that damage is definitely going to affect how much that car turns. '16 of Robert A. Moyer finally catching up the back bumper of Everly as he's just going to stay behind him and just ride. Oh, going back up front, the 8 of Nick Crawford has been overtaken by the 22 of Chris Gutierrez. By the looks of it, the 8 of Crawford is suffering from some right rear damage there, including some left rear damage. Not sure what happened there, but I did miss it. And the leader, the 32, Zachary Hall, pulling away, and now 2.7 seconds ahead of the second place driver, Chris Gutierrez. Looking back at that 95 of John LeBombard, just taking it easy here, trying his best to keep his car clean. just driving safely, it's better to drive slow than to drive fast and wreck it, because that wall sneaks up on you quick. He gets overtaken by that 34, Christopher Matthews, who's trying to make ground. Christopher Matthews, a man on a mission, trying his best to catch up to the 8 of Nick Crawford, his next victim, who's 3 seconds ahead of him. Well, by the looks of it, the 95 of La Bombard there might be taking it a little bit too easy, as that 78 of John Jones is going to catch up to him right now. He's catching up to him slowly but surely. Also, as that 95 of La Bombard is in the draft range of that 34 of Matthews. Looks like up front, the 8 of Nick Crawford got around the 22 of Gutierrez then is now back in second place. I really would have thought the damage that the 8 of Crawford sustained there might be slowing him down, but he's proving us wrong here as he's on the move right now, trying to catch up the leader, Zachary Hall, who is now 4 seconds ahead of them. .34 Christopher Matthews just made about 4 seconds on the guys behind him. Actually, scratch that. He's looks like the 95 of La Bombard is actually keeping up, just a second behind him. Looking further back, we have that 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr. catching up the back bumper of 53 of Ivan Jones. Catching him slowly but surely, but by the looks of it, he might just have to ride because the track is so small, it's difficult to make a pass. Right behind Jr. there in the 16 is that 36 of Brandon Mullen, who's catching up out of nowhere. The 32 of Mullen also has some right front damage there. I'm guessing he hit that wall. Going back up front, the 53 of Ivan Jones gets loose off the track and gets overtaken by the 36 of Brandon Mullen and the 16 of Moyer Jr. Mullen is on the move. He has that 16 of Moyer Jr. in his crosshairs trying to hunt him down. He just might snipe him here shortly. And going further up front, that the 32 of Zachary Hall with a comfortable lead there, now making up, is now 5 seconds ahead of second place, Nick Crawford. And in turn, the 22 of Chris Gutierrez, who's in third place, is just 1 second and 6 seconds behind the leader. He's 1 second behind Nick Crawford and 6 seconds behind Zachary Hall. .34 Christopher Matthews gets into the wall, exiting turn 4 there. Great job by him saving it, but that is definitely going to slow him down quite a bit. He's going to lose some time because of that. We got one spinning on the front straightaway. That's going to be the 22 of Chris Gutierrez. Looks like it's not going to bring out a caution. gonna go back and take a look at what might have caused him to spin out. Oh, looks like that wall exiting turn 4 snuck up on him. He hit that wall and lost control. Looks like he just went from 3rd place to 11th place in 1 lap. That's really unfortunate to see. We still have a long way to go, though. It's about 79 laps until this thing is over, so he still has time to make up. The 36 of Brandon Mullen in 6th place, trying to hunt down the 78 of John Jones, who's in 5th place, and he's doing so right now, getting a bump draft on the back straightaway, getting the draft. Like Brandon is trying his best to get a run so he can overtake the 78 of Jones, but Jones seems to be holding his own as well, and he's not going to let it go easily. .36 of Brandon Mullen catches up to the back bumper of the 78. He's going to overtake him, taking the inside line and making it work successfully, exiting turn 4. Great job by him. He just went from 6th place to the top 5. He has another driver in his crosshairs. That's the 95 of La Bombard. Brandon Mullen gets into the wall, exiting turn 4 there, but managed to save it. So great job by him. Looks like John Jones used that opportunity to get catch up to his back bumper there, but looks like Mullen there got a better run, exiting the turn. As the 16 of Robert A. Moyers catching up to his back bumper and looking to the inside line, but backs up in the turn. Looks like Brandon Mullen is getting loose, exiting the turns there. Looks like that damage is finally catching up with him. Going back up front, the leader, the 32 of Zachary Hall, catching up to a lap car. That's the 61 of Dave Everly. He's not a lapped car just yet, but once he gets lapped, he's going to go a lap down. He's still on the lead lap at the moment as we speak. Zachary Hall just taking it easy right behind Dave Everly, trying to make that pass successfully and clean. He's going to wait for the perfect opportunity to make the pass. Ladies and gentlemen, right now as we speak, we have that 8 of Nick Crawford down pit road for a pit stop. Green flag pit stops are kicking in right now. The 8 of Nick Crawford takes some gas in 4 tires. He is on the move, rolling off pit road as we speak. John Jones as well in that 78 is going down pit lane for his green flag pit stop. Chris Gutierrez currently 2 laps down. The driver who got caught up in a self-spin there exiting turn 4 is 2 laps down with a new car. Going back up front, looks like the 32 of Hall finally got around the 61 of Dave Everly successfully and cleanly. Since Dave Everly got overtaken by that leader, he is now officially a lap down. '53 Ivan Jones gets overtaken by the 8 of Nick Crawford, who's on new tires with a full tank. Looks like Nick Crawford is a man on a mission, trying his best to catch up or make up some time on that 32 of Zachary Hall. Looks like Zachary Hall has not yet pitted, as right now, as we speak, he's catching up to the 23 of James Hackworth Jr., putting him a lap down if he overtakes him. '23 James Hackworth Jr. self-spin off of turn 4 there. Is on the track, blocking the track in the middle of the track. Looks like he's smoking, but he's gonna manage to bring that thing up onto the side, or the apron, I should say. Looks like we're gonna have another green flag run here, as the caution did not come out, surprisingly. That should have been a caution, because he was blocking the track for about 5 seconds before he could get a chance to move it off. I'm just surprised it wasn't a caution. That's really unfortunate for the 23 of Hackworth. Looks like 36 of Brandon Mullen tried to pit in as well, but missed his pit entrance and had no choice but to go around one more time. '32 of Zachary Hall pitting in, this time by green flag pit stops. It's a barbecue down pit lane behind the leader, or in front of the leader, as that 23 of James Hackworth is gonna go down pit road to get a reset. Gonna focus on the 32 of Zachary Hall, who's going down pit road right now. Pit lane speed is 45 miles an hour. Gonna keep an eye on him and compare his pit strategy to that of the 8 of Crawford. '32 Zachary Hall rolling off pit road. Right now we have a new leader, that's 16 of Robert A. Moyer. I do not think he's pitted yet, so I'm guessing he's going to get overtaken again once he pits in. Nick Crawford still trying to make up some time, currently in 8th place. Actually, currently in 7th place. Still a lap down. Looks like the 8 of Nick Crawford is back on the lead lap in 4th place, while the leader, the previous leader, the 32 of Zachary Hall, is in 5th place right behind him, a lap down. Zachary Hall is catching up to a lap car, that's 16, not a lap car, but actually a current leader, the 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr. He goes to his inside line, side by side they go on the front straightaway as he makes the pass successfully. 16 of Robert A. Moyer did not make it hard for him to get around him. And by the looks of it, Zachary Hall still has some right side damage, so I guess he did not use his reset. I guess it wasn't that bad. Our current race leader, the 16 of Moyer Jr., is now down pit road for his green flag pit stop. Oh, we have one car crawling on the front stretch, that 53 of Ivan Jones. I'm guessing he might have run out of gas. That's really unfortunate to see, as he was running in 3rd place. Yep, that's about right. 53 of Ivan Jones ran out of gas as he was trying to pit in. That's very unfortunate to see. 16 Robert A. Moyer going off pit road as we speak, still in the lead, still shows him in the lead. Actually, he just got overtaken by the 8 of Nick Crawford. Nick Crawford, our new race leader, the 32 of Zachary Hall in 2nd place, 3 seconds behind him. As we all know, the 32 of Zachary Hall qualified on the pole in qualifying, and in practice he took the pole. So he's a man on a mission right now. As we can see, he led pretty much every single lap before he pitted in. Looks like the two new leaders are catching up to some lap cars, some lap traffic. That 23 of James Hackworth Jr. right in front of the 32 of Zachary Hall. Brandon Mullen currently in 5th place, still on the lead lap. Looks like behind him is going to be the leader, the 8 of Nick Crawford. So if the 8 of Nick Crawford gets around him there, he's going to go a lap down. Brandon Mullen, also an amazing driver. He also very, very fast. Looks like he did not put a qualifying lap time down, but he's shown that he can drive. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back. We're going to go for a commercial break, get some more popcorn and some more drinks so we can be back for the second half of this race. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and we'll be right back.
This race is no normal race. Tonight, 4 drivers battle with only one goal at hand. Only one will win. Who will rise and who will fall? But they're not alone on the track. They're being chased by a pack full of hungry drivers looking for a chance to make their name and chase for a championship. You won't win the Dash for Cash tonight, but you sure can lose it. Sit back and enjoy.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with Freedom Train.
You should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. By being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Right?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of this race. Looks like we have a new leader, that 32 of Zachary Hall. Zachary Hall ran down the 8 of Nick Crawford from about 3 seconds back and made up the gap in about 2 laps, and the 8 of Nick Crawford had no choice but to pull over. Looks like Zachary Hall is going strong, catching up to a lap car. That's 16 of Robert A. Moya Jr., who's currently in 6th place. Looks like Nick Crawford is losing time every lap on the leader, Zachary Hall there. '53 of Ivan Jones currently on pit road as we speak, the driver who ran out of gas before he went on commercial break. He is currently 6 laps down. Brandon Mullen going strong as well in 4th place, catching up to the 78 of John Jones, who's currently in 3rd place. '22 of Chris Gutierrez coming down one more time to pit road. Gonna keep an eye on him and watch his strategy. I'm not sure if once he pits this time, if he's gonna be able to make it until the end. We can't tell just yet. Just like I had mentioned before, it's a 60% fuel limit. Looks like Chris in that 22 took 4 tires and is now rolling off pit lane. Him pitting under green just cost him 2 positions, 3 positions. That 34 of Christopher Matthews got around him. The 95 of John LaBombard got around him. So did the 61 of David Everly. Going back up front, the 32 of Zachary Hall is now 5 seconds ahead of the 8 of Nick Crawford. John Jones pitting in as we speak, going down pit road for another pit stop. Looks like we just lost a driver, that 53 of Ivan Jones retiring for the night. Brandon Mullen is now in 3rd place, and behind him is going to be the 16 of Robert A. Moyer. Mullen brushes that wall, giving room or giving time for the Robert A. Moyer car in the 16 to catch up to him. Robert A. Moyer is too close for comfort for that 36 of Mullen, as he's going to use him to draft.
The yellow flag is out.
Caution is out, caution is out. First caution of the night on lap 58. Gonna go back and take a look at what might have been the cause of that. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot seem to find what was the cause of that caution. No car was spun out. See no smoke on the track, so maybe that was a debris caution. From experience, that caution was much needed for these drivers. They went about 57 to 58 laps, green flag, and had about 2 green flag pit stops. The 32 of Zachary Hall, current race leader, going down pit road, leading the pack behind him. Behind him is going to be the 8 of Nick Crawford. Actually, looks like the only two who are going to be pitting in this time. Both the 8 of Crawford and the 32 of Hall both have some right side damage. Looks like we have a new race leader, that 36 of Brandon Mullen, sneaking into first place. We have about 4 cars that are going to get the wave around or get their lap back with 1 to go. That's going to involve or include the 95 of John LaBombard, the 78 of John Jones, 22 of Chris Gutierrez, and the 23 of James Hackworth Jr. Actually, the 23 of James Hackworth Jr. won't be eligible for that wave around as he is going down pit road as we speak. So he won't get the wave around and he's going to stay a lap down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my co-commentator is finally made it here. Looks like he blew his motor in the race. That's 61 of Dave Everly. You got a copy, bud?
How you doing there, Sean?
I am doing good, and it's good to see you. How's the race?
Boy, that track is tricky. Ooh, it's tough.
Oh, I could tell. Looks like more than half the field has some right side damage, so that tells you something.
Yeah, if you just get a little too hard in them turns, you're gonna slide up and hit the wall, which is basically what happened to me, and it pushed me right down to the infield and blew my motor, so I'm pretty much done for the race.
I'm sorry to hear about that. And by the looks of it, it seemed as if, or it looks as if the 32 of Zachary Hall is pretty much the fastest driver and the strongest tonight, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it seems that Zach definitely has this track dialed in pretty good. I think he lapped me a time or two, so he's definitely quick out there.
Most definitely. And also that 8 of Nick Crawford as well seems to be pretty strong tonight. He does seem to be losing some time to the 32 of Zachary Hall. But also the 36 of Brandon Mullen as well. Just a powerful player tonight. Looks like the lights on the pace car are actually off, and we're going to be going green this time by it. These guys are getting double fouled. Oh, looks like the 32 of Zachary Hall pitted one more time. Or it was the 8 of Nick Crawford who pitted, and we have a new race leader, the 34 of Christopher Matthews. The pace car is off. See holding pace speed.
Green flag, green
The
flag.
green flag flies. That 34 of Matthews on the loud pedal side by side of the 32 of the 36 of Mullen. The 8 of Nick Crawford in third place, second on the bottom lane. Just taking it easy, trying to make sure the guys in front of him do not wreck. Going back up front, 36 of Brandon Mullen makes a power move on the outside line, makes the pass on the 34 of Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews just went from first place to second place in one lap on turn 1. And Dave, since you were driving here tonight, how was the tire wear?
It all depends on how hard you push, but I was definitely noticing some major tire wear. right about 5 to 10 laps in, so it's pretty significant here at Darlington.
Oh, copy that. And it's a 60% fuel limit. Do you remember how many laps you went on a tank before you had to pit in?
Unfortunately, no. I can't remember. I think it's right about 30 laps or so, but I mean, I definitely could be wrong.
Oh, copy that. We're just gonna have to wait and see, and keep an eye on these guys and see who pits in and who stays out. Going back up front, that 36 of Brandon Mullen, strong, showing that he can get the job done. Currently in first place. Behind him, not too far back, is going to be the 34 who just got shuffled out by him on the first lap. Nick Crawford getting loose right behind him, gets down below that apron, saves it, is sideways, wiggling left to right, keeps it straight, but gets overtaken by pretty much everybody. Nice save by Nick Crawford, but that is definitely going to affect him. And Dave, from what I've seen tonight, I've seen pretty much all single file. I'm guessing double file is not easy.
Yeah, this track's definitely not made for, it's real hard to get around. If a car gets to your inside, you definitely got to let off that throttle, or otherwise it's just going to be a tangled mess.
Oh, most definitely. By the sounds of it, 3 wide is impossible.
I wouldn't say impossible, just highly unadvised.
Copy that. As we can see right now, currently in third place at 32 of Zachary Hall on the move. Got around that 34 of Christopher Matthews as though he was sitting still. Zachary Hall catching up to the 36 of Mullen, as Mullen is going to try his best to hold on to the lead.
Yeah, it's looking like the 36 of Brandon Mullins is just trying to save a little bit more tires than what the 32 of Zach Hall is. But it'll definitely be interesting to see if he's able to hold him off and keep that lead.
Oh yes, sir, most definitely. And as we can see right now, Zachary Hall is catching up to Mullen pretty quickly at a very fast pace in the turns, but he's having to let off way off, because if he does not, he's going to end up running him over.
Yeah, looking here, it looks like about their tires are just about even, and looks like Nick Crawford, the last lap, turned the fastest lap, so it looks like the 8 of Nick Crawford is definitely trying to make a push to catch up to these guys to battle.
Nick Crawford, the driver who got loose about 4 laps ago, managed to save it and got overtaken by about 4 cars, is now back on the move, currently in 4th place. Looks like he made up about 2 spots ever since he spun out. Lost control there, got loose.
Yeah, most definitely. It's like I said, it's a challenging track, and these drivers are definitely showing it. As you see, the back up front, the 36 and the 32 got side by side coming into the turn, but looks like the 32 of Zach Hall kind of let off and went ahead and let the 36 of Brandon Ball keep the lead.
And by the looks of it, that 36 of Mullen had a better line on the high sideline, because from what you had mentioned earlier, the bottom lane just might not be the best place to be when going double foul.
Yeah, it's definitely, that bottom line will definitely chew up your tires a lot quicker than the middle, or even the high line if you can hold it and keep it off the wall.
As we can see right now, that's 32 of Zachary Hall, featuring his name, trying to make his presence known to that 36 of Mullen.
Also looks like why these two are battling, the 34 of Christopher Matthews is starting to sneak up close to him. We might have a 3-way battle for the lead here coming shortly.
As we can see right there again in front of Matthews there. They was side by side again. The 36 of Mullen getting the upper hand and still leading, exiting the turn. Zachary Hall looking the outside line, but looks like a 36 gets a better run out of the turn, as that 32 of Hall is going to use the draft to get up the back bumper of Mullen there.
Oh, it looks like the 34 of Christopher Matthews just tags that wall, gets him a little squiggly, and the 8 of Nick Crawford's going to be able to get around him and take over that third position.
That definitely was a hard hit. That was not pretty. Looks like he's suffering from some right front damage or right side damage, but he did manage to save it. So great job by him, but unfortunately he did lose a spot and a lot of time.
Yeah, these walls here will definitely suck you up into them, and you got to be real careful trying to get off of it, because once that wall lets you go, it can definitely shoot you down to the inside a lot more than you anticipate trying to get off that wall.
Most definitely. And Dave, if you are in the shoes of the current race leader, the 36 of Mullen, what would be your thought process right now, since you're being handled by that 32 of Zachary?
I think I would be doing exactly what he's doing, just running his line, not really worrying too much about the 32. He's going to make the 32 work for it to get around him, so as the 32 does get to the inside, the 36 tags the wall and is slowed down, but is back on the throttle, as that 8 of Nick Crawford is definitely catching him fast.
And by the looks of it there, Dave, that 32 of Zachary Ho definitely did hit the wall, because he bounced off that apron, hit the wall right after the 36 of Brandon hit the wall. But by the looks of it, the 36 of Mullen hit the wall harder than compared to the 32 of Hall. Nick Crawford right behind that 36 of Mullen, and he's going to get a run exiting the turn, and he's going to look to the inside line side by side. They're going to go through turn 1 and 2. 36 of Mullen not letting it go easily, as the 8 of Crawford has no choice but to back off.
Oh, it looks like the 36 of Brandon Mullen just tagged the wall again coming out of the turn, and the 8 of Nick Crawford was able to get around him, and now he's got to contend with the 34 of Christopher Matthews as he's quickly gaining back on the back bumper of that 36 of Brandon Mullins.
So by the looks of it, the 36 of Mullen had some heavy right side damage as it was, and once he tagged that wall, it just made it worse. So I hope he can still keep up. Speaking of wall tapping, that 34 of Christopher Matthews got into the wall as well once again. Managed to save it.
Yeah, it looks like the 36 of Brandon Mullins is going to bring it down pit road, get some fresh gas, fresh tires, and try to fix some of that damage.
I really hope he has a reset, and once again, these drivers only have one reset, so if they ended up using it early on in the race, they're going to have no choice but to stay in pit road a while longer for the pit crew to fix it. And going back up front, that 8 of Nick Crawford is keeping pace with the 32 of Zachary Hall. Looks like Zachary Hall is not pulling away as much as he was before. The 8 of Nick Crawford gets into the wall, exiting turn 4, as he's now going to lose a little bit of time to the 32 of Hall.
Yeah, as you can see, all these drivers are doing a little bit of tag to the wall here at Darlington. Like I said, it's definitely a slick track, and if you get up just enough, that wall will suck you right into it and bounce you off of it real quick.
And look at that, Dave. Watching that 36 of Brandon Mullen at the moment, he does seem to have the right side damage with him. I'm not sure if maybe he took a reset and hit the wall again, or maybe he just didn't use a reset or didn't have one.
Yeah, he may have used it up earlier on one of his earlier pit stops to repair some damage, so It would be interesting to see if this will slow him down any, or if he's able to get back up there on the lead lap and contend these guys again later in the race.
Yes, sir, and I'm guessing that the 32 of Zachary Hall and the 8 of Crawford, or pretty much the leaders, are gonna have to pit before this is over, because now I'm guessing that the 36 of Mullen can make it from here.
Yeah, he may have been playing track strategy there, trying to get in early, get them fresh tires to gain on them, so that way when they go into the pit, you know, he could sneak back around while they're in the pit and take that lead over.
And as we can see, that 36 of Brandon Mullen got into the wall as he was trying to get around the 23 of James Hackworth Jr., who slowed down drastically. Going back up front, the 8 of Nick Crawford riding that wall once again, gets loose, is sideways exiting turn 4, but manages to hold on to it once again. Well, Dave, that damage on the 8 of Crawford is getting nothing but worse, because he just keeps tapping that wall like every 5 laps, it seems like.
Yeah, like I said, this track is definitely challenging. As we can definitely take a look at the leader, Zachary Hall. He is definitely backing up his corners a lot more than he did earlier in the race, trying to keep that car off the wall as much as possible.
Yes, sir, and speaking of Zachary Hall in the turns, we hear him clutching it in. I'm going to ride shotgun with him just so we can check his strategy. Do you think him saving is going to benefit him, or do you think he's better off pitting in?
Well, he's currently got about almost a 2-second lead over the 8 of Nick Crawford, and him and Nick are running about the same amount of tires, laps on their tires, so it'll be interesting to see if this clutching it in the corners will definitely be able to save enough fuel to finish this race.
Most definitely, and by the looks of it, that 8 of Crawford is not saving at all, so I'm guessing Nick is going to pit in before the race is over, but these guys do have 9 laps to go.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to come into pit road, or if they're just going to try to push the fuel strategy and see if they got enough to be able to stay out and complete this race.
Yes, sir, and by the looks of it, the 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr. is catching up to Nick slowly but surely, as Nick as well in turn is catching up to our race leader, the 32 of Zachary Hall.
Yeah, most definitely. That 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr. Racing with him, he definitely is very good at saving his tires and making a late race run, which is what he's looks like he's doing right at the moment.
As we can see here, it's working in his favor because he just made up a lot of time on the 8 of Crawford and the 32 of Hall. Well, I'm still listening to that engine of the 32 of Hall. He's still clutching it in, while the 8 of Crawford behind him and the 16 of Moyer are not saving gas. Nick Crawford gets into the wall, exiting turn 4, gets overtaken by the 16 of Robert A. Moyer, who's catching up to a lap car at a very, very quick pace. That's 78 of Ivan Jones holding his own, holding the outside line, trying to let the 16 of Moyer by, but it looks like Moyer lost a lot of speed in the turn. Well, Dave, we have about 5 laps remaining in this race, and the 32 of Zachary seems to have a comfortable lead on these guys behind him. Looks like he's now about 1.9 seconds ahead of them. Do you think he should just keep saving gas and take it easy, or he should go for it and try and get as far away as possible from them?
Most definitely, what he's doing now would probably make sure is his best bet. As we know, the 16 of Robert Moyer is not really saving gas, so he must have enough fuel to make it to the end. So, but we see him kind of staying steady at right about 2 seconds behind the 32 of Zachary Hall as they come out of turn number 2.
So without a doubt, as we can see right there, the 8 of Crawford at this point has nothing on the 16 of Moyer or the 32 of Hall, since he's hit the wall so many times and damaged that car of his, unfortunately.
Yeah, going here to look, it looks like the 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. has cut the lead to under 1 second, 0.9 seconds there behind the 32 of Zachary Hall, as we are getting in the later stages of this race with 3 laps to go.
Yes, sir, it's going to be white flag next time. Well, actually, we're still on lap 98, so we have about 1.5 laps for that 16 to catch up to him. Speaking of catching up to that leader, he scrapes the wall exiting turn 4.
It'll be interesting to see if he's going to be able to catch him in these next 2 laps, because the next time around at the start-finish line, they are going to get the white flag. So let's see if the 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. has anything for the 32 of Zachary Hall.
Looks like the gap between the 32 of Zachary Hall and the 16 of Moyer is actually 0.8 seconds, which means it's under 1 second compared to last lap.
And the white flag flies. I don't know if Robert Moyer is going to have anything for the 32 Zachary Hall, but as they come out of turn 2, I'm showing him a little over a second behind, so he may not have enough time to catch him.
That's really unfortunate. Yes, sir. He just lost about 0.1 second this lap. So, by the looks of it, the 32 of Zachary Hall is going to bring this thing home with no pressure. Great job by that 32 of Zachary Hall, and behind him in second place is going to be the 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr. That 8 of Nick Crawford hangs on to it, was able to hold his own and do what he was supposed to do, and managed to bring his damaged car in 3rd place. So great job by these drivers.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race. I'm bummed that I got to miss the finish of it, but at least I got to see it from the broadcast booth. And with that 2nd place finish, the 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. is going to clinch up the Dash for Cash series and take home the cash prize.
So we're going to try and get some interviews with our race top 3 finishers. That's namely the 32 of Zachary Hall, 16 of Moyer Jr., and the 8 of Crawford. So Zachary Hall, you got a copy, bud.
10-4 I do.
Yes, sir, Zach, we saw you really strong in practice. You took the pole in practice and in qualifying. Tell us about your race.
Well, that race that was intense. The first stint right there was definitely, it was working out until that caution came out. But I had to save a lot of fuel definitely on that last run. I was kind of getting worried there for a second. I had 0.2 of a gallon left, so that was at the hair right there.
Yes, sir, we did actually hear you clutching it in there. Your car would go silent in the turns, and then off the turns you get back into the gas. But then your opponents behind you were not saving any gas. Tell us, how close were you on finishing on gas?
I could have probably made it one more lap, I'd imagine, because I had 0.3 of a gallon, and I was figuring that maybe one more. Like, it was very close. I was worried there for a second because they were catching me.
Speaking of cutting it close there, that was really close. 0.3 gallons. Man, I've never been that close to almost running out. Well, Zach, anyone you'd like to thank for, we'll let you go.
Yeah, I would like to thank my teammate, Robert. He's a great teammate. I'm glad we got a 1-2 tonight for PRT. That's great. That's really awesome. And yeah, I want to thank you guys first too, because y'all do an amazing job broadcasting our races, and I really appreciate it. And I want to thank our admins, Brandon and David. They're awesome. They make this league run smoothly, and we have great fun out here. And real happy to say got 3 in a row right now. I'm on a hot streak. Hopefully keep it up going into the chase here in 2 weeks. But pretty much it. Thanks, guys.
Oh, copy that. Once again, congratulations, and hope to see you during the chase.
And 4, thanks, guys.
All right, Dave.
And it looks like we're going to be joined in by the 3rd place finisher, the number 8 of Nick Crawford, Nick, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, David.
So tell us about the race. What'd you think of it tonight?
Oh, that was a really tough race. I think I pounded the wall like 14 times. I lost count, but it was all about tire management, and at the end, it came down to fuel strategy.
Yeah, most definitely. We were definitely keeping an eye on that. Wonder if you guys were going to be able to make it to the end there. Now, you said you tagged the wall about 16 times. Was it hard getting off that wall once you get into it? Did it kind of just want to suck you in and keep it, or was it just like a little love tap?
Honestly, it really depended where you hit the wall in the corner. In turn 1, if you hit it in the middle, you could just bounce right off. But if you hit it at the exit of 2, you were pounding it, or you're riding the wall down the straightaway.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I definitely want to say a congratulations on your 3rd place finish tonight. And before we let you go, is there anybody you would like to thank?
I want to thank the admins of the league for running it. They do a great job. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting it. And I want to thank my teammates for all the help they do.
Most definitely. And once again, congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our 3rd place finisher, the 8 of Nick Crawford. Well, we couldn't get an interview with our Dash for Cash prize winner, Dash for Cash winner, 16 of Robert A. Moyer. He's not on TeamSpeak, so we cannot interview him. But instead, we're gonna interview the 4th place finisher, the 34, Christopher Matthews. You get a copy, bud.
Yeah, I'm right here. How you guys doing?
Good, doing good. And how are you?
Doing all right. That was a fun but frustrating race.
Yes, I saw you hit the wall about once or twice there, and I saw you got loose, but managed to keep your car under control. Tell us, how was the setup handling tonight?
Rolling in the corner was fine. You just had to figure out which end was better for you. But my counter for hitting that stripe was a lot higher.
Copy that. And tell us about the green flag pit stops. Did your pit strategy work in your favor, or did you end up suffering because of it?
I actually think I came out even. I was hoping everybody start running out of gas. I knew some people ran out as soon as the checker through, but that's just a risk you gotta take.
Oh, most definitely. And by the looks of it, you finished in 4th place, a lap down. Pretty much the first car a lap down. Looks like we only had about the top 3 are the only drivers who finished on the lead lap. But besides that, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd just like to thank you guys for broadcasting the race. I'd like to thank the league, all the people that participate, and that's pretty much it.
So once again, congratulations on your 4th place finish, and we hope to see you again next time.
Definitely, thank you.
Well, Dave, it's been a fun race for me. Very, very good race. We only had 1 caution in 100 laps, so that's really, really impressive. And that caution that came out, we couldn't even find it. So I'm guessing that was a debris caution or a glitch on the iRacing part. Well, it's been a fun race, and thanks for joining me, Dave. And thank you, viewers, for watching. Without you, we're nothing. Well, before we leave here, we're gonna go over the final results on the poll. The 1st place qualifier, the 32 of Zachary Hall, brought this thing home. Congratulations to him. We get in 2nd place, we have the 16 of Robert A. Moyer Jr., our Dash for Cash prize winner, in 2nd place. The 8 of Nick Crawford came out in 3rd place. The 34 of Christopher Matthews came out in 4th place, a lap down. 36 of Brandon Mullen came out in 5th place, also a lap down, and that rounds up your top 5. And also going further down that list, we have that 95 of John LaBombard, who came out in 6th place, also a lap down. 78 of John Jones came out in 7th place, 2 laps down. 23 of James Hackworth Jr. came out in 8th place, also 2 laps down. Unfortunately, the 22 of Chris Gutierrez came out in 9th place, 35 laps down. Tough night for him. 61 of Dave Everly himself came out in 10th place, 44 laps down. He blew a motor in mid-race there. And then the 53 of Ivan Jones, the driver who ran out of gas before he could get a chance to pit in, came out 55 laps down. We had only 11 drivers tonight. Pretty small field and very, very good race. Only had one caution, so can't really complain. Well, Dave, what was your favorite thing about the race tonight?
Other than the one caution that I brought out doing a self spin after I hit the wall, just with Racinfreeks, we usually have clean racing, so it was definitely just the fact that it was some long green flag runs, green flag pit stops, which definitely made it interesting.
Oh, copy that. And once again, thank you for joining me in the booth. Once you blew your motor there, unfortunately. But also want to thank our sponsors. We have the Stock Car Racing Experience. So thank you for sponsoring this. And also gonna go over the previous Dash for Cash standings. The new winner is gonna be the 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. Won the cash prize tonight. Unfortunately, his competitors couldn't make it. That's the 13 of Cedric Hunter and the 62 of Jeff Gilmore. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very, very fun race. Be sure to be here tomorrow around 8 p.m. Central Time for the Pod 266 with the KMA series there. We're going to be racing the trucks at Talladega, your favorite. You're going to see some 3-4 wide action and some green flag pit stops and some awesome racing. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when we go live. If you're not new to the channel, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being in the chat, and keep spreading the word and posting that link on every site that you can think of. Well, the legal ones, that is. But once again, my name is Sean Zulu, and this is Dave Everly joining me. And behind those cameras is Michael D'Amico, always doing a great job. We're gonna see you again next time, and have a good night.
Driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with Freedom Train.